Wilson hooks a pass, looking, end zone! George Pickens climbs the ladder for the touchdown!
Welcome back to 5-Star Matchup. If you like what we do, you should support the show by joining at patreon.com/5SMU. It only costs $4 and you get access to our insanely awesome Discord server where you can bug me 24 hours a day. Do it now. Well, we're back from a much-deserved and much-needed bye week, and it's time for a self-proclaimed 5-star matchup against likely Rookie of the Year Jayden Daniels and the Washington Red Football Commanders. Does Pittsburgh have it in them to steal one on the road? Only one way to find out. Out trots the shockingly great Russell Wilson, and he's getting this one started with the classic flip out to noted wild elephant Darnell Washington, whose place in this offense continues to expand. But they come up short on third, and it's over to the commies quicker than you can say, I thought Washington football team was kinda cool. Doink! File this one in your memory banks for later. Enter the aforementioned rookie Daniels, and I have to say Washington finally has their guy at quarterback. Sam Howell, who? Gets him going with a short completion, but misfires on third, and it's a pair of 3-and-outs to get the sparring started. And who says the Steelers never use the middle of the field? Russ takes a shot deep to the Muth man, who can't make the grab because he's practically hogtied, get it? And it's an easy first near midfield for the boys in white. Pair of nice runs for the effervescent Naj, gets him chewing and nets another first, and man are the Steelers going to look silly for not extending him now. Maybe they'll franchise him, but I can't imagine he'd be hyped about that. Pay the man. No charging required. The electric meatball is solar powered and never out of juice. Just pitch it to him and watch him go. Is there anything better than a running back tandem where you're never quite sure who's the better player? Pass rush barrels down as Russ misfires, but it's a bit too much as the blitzer whacks our captain in the dome and draws another first, placing the Steelers in the warm, sticky embrace of the business zone. 2nd and 9 from the 16, and want a balloon, Georgie? If there's one thing I've learned about Mr. Unlimited, it's that if he gets single coverage, he's going to give his man a chance every time, and oh, what a chance it is. Pickens makes a spinning snag for the opening score, and I think it's officially time to ask if the Steelers are a top 10 offense? Back over to the boys in the maroon pajamas, and it's a quick hitter for 9 on first, but on second it's the Queen's Gambit. Patrick shoots through for the epic stick in the backfield, and this was just the start of his best game as a Steeler so far. I told y'all not to worry. 3rd and 3, and it's Old Faithful, Slammer and Cameron Hayward doing his best impression of a bear grabbing a beehive, and let's just say there was plenty of honey to go around. And whoops! Theme of the day was Washington constantly bringing extra pressure, and the Steelers not doing a great job picking it up. Here the blitzer comes untouched and blows up Wilson for a drive killer. Wilson fires incomplete, and it's time to punt it back to Washington, right? Wrong. Steelers spot a hole in the coverage and pull a surprise fake punt, which does not go well. Or maybe it does? James Pierre is wide open and Miles Killebrew gets it out to him, but generally speaking, the only passes completed near Pierre Island are the ones he's defending, and this one falls harmlessly to the ground. I don't know about this one, Chief. There was a lot of heated debate in our Discord about this one, and while I like the aggressiveness, it's hard for me to say James Pierre has to catch that when I know that James Pierre is a defensive back who doesn't often have to catch passes in the NFL. I think this is way too deep in your own end to try a fake, and the positives don't outweigh the negatives. Sure, it'd keep the drive going, but if the guy drops the pass like he did, you're literally spotting them points. No thanks. Daniels gets him going with 8-yard catch and run for Zacchaeus, followed by a dart up the middle for the touchdown finder Austin Eckler, who's just short, but it's only a matter of semantics as he runs it in on the very next play, and Washington ties it up at Roethlisberger's. Well, there goes the early momentum. No one said this would be easy. Time to respond. Well, maybe not. Naj run goes nowhere, and this deep streak to the van does not go according to plan, and it's right back to Jayden and the commies. Ogunjobi with the TFL. Larry is one of the most unsung players on this D, big fan. You can see the Steelers employed much of the same defense they do against Lamar and other running quarterbacks. Here, Daniels eventually gets flushed and he can find no one, and much of the same on third, and it's a frustrating start to the day for the rookie quarterback, who looked more than human today for the first time in quite a while. Now, this one wouldn't normally be on a highlight reel, but I had to shout out my boy Calvin, who continues his mischief even without Hobbs. I've never seen the fake punt gimmick work by over 30 yards before. Small things that get lost in the sands of time, but I simply cannot say enough about Danny Smith's special teams unit, which continues to make game-affecting plays week in and week out. Always one to reward good behavior, the mustachioed one dials up a nifty catch and run for the very same Mr. Austin, followed by a wide-open running lane for the Polynesian pinball, and the Steelers' offense is cooking as we head already into the second quarter. 2nd and 7, Jay goes nowhere, setting up 3rd and 6, and it's a really nice idea by Art and Russ, but a great tackle by the Skins, and the Shirts are forced to punt it back. Let's actually kick it this time, though, huh? And doink! Danny Smith giveth, and Danny Smith chompeth! Bubblegum God Big D pulls some Haitian voodoo magic from the sideline, rendering Zacchaeus incapable of fielding this very simple punt, and the ball bounces into the loving arms of Skoronic. Well, I guess if you're going to give him a possession in the red zone, it's only fair you steal one back. Huge play in the early flow of this game. Gotta get 7 though. I just love this so much. Look at the defense completely enamored with the run, and the double Ocho just running scot-free across the formation for an easy first and almost score. I am so in love with Art Smith at OC that I'm thinking about growing a mustache. What a red zone beaut. Couple plays later on a gotta have it 3rd and goal, would you look at this grown man screen by the van with the plan? This is what an offensive coordinator is for, folks. Things are happening schematically that we haven't seen here since the days of at least Tequila Todd, and the quarterback is seeing it and capitalizing on it. Easy money for the Moothman, and the Steelers pull back in front by 7. Back to Daniels though, and you just know the Rook isn't going to take this lying down. First he fires complete in front of a daydreaming Joey Jr. who did not have a great game today, and on the very next play, the very same son of Joey grabs more than a handful to slow up Noah Brown, and it's a big old PI to give Washington a chunk of Flacco yards. Eckler does his best Tasmanian Devil impression for a whirling dervish of a first, but a couple plays later it's that man in the Duck Hodges jersey again. PQ firing through for another TFL, setting up a very long 3rd and whatever, which bounces harmlessly to the ground. Washington takes the consolation kick and pulls closer. Steelers 14, Commanders 10. Back to General Carrington and the boys, and who says Russ can't run? Bit of a lumbering scramble here for the 35-year-old QB, but he gets the job done and secures a first near midfield for the boys in white. Couple plays later, facing a 3rd and 10, they can't all be winners though. Russ attempts to drop another one in the bucket, this time of Calvin Austin III, who can't quite track it down. But remember this, will ya? Typical great punt by Waitman drops him inside the 10 to start, and it's one of the few runs of the day for Jayden, who gets him moving with a few, followed by a completion that I'm pretty sure is short of the sticks, but whatever, because on the very next play, it's Alexander the Great, firing past this poor corpse of an offensive lineman for an earth-shattering penalty. Takes the sack off the board and gives him a first. Woof. Steelers employ the old put nobody in the same state as Zach Ertz defense, and it goes as you might expect, poorly. Eckler converts as time continues to tick, and you can just feel the dreaded double dip coming in real time, can't ya? Eckler takes another and whop! Thank goodness the turf monster made the tackle, because this is most definitely a touchdown if Austin gets by Joey. Daniels faces a momentous 3rd and 4, and the Rook is just never shook. He stands in the pocket and fires deep to a wide open Luke McCaffrey, and Washington is pulling out their formal pig noses and maroon silks as they enter the business zone. Is the hog thing still a thing for the Commanders? Another theme of the day, I thought, was the very heavy-handed officiating, which for the most part went against the Steelers. This one I just don't get. How is this pass interference? Guy just fell down into Joey. Porter had literally nothing to do with the guy falling down. Eckler wastes no time and scampers in for the lead-stealing score as time ticks away in the half. Commanders take the 13-7 lead with a very measly offensive output. We head in for orange slices and pretzel rods as Mike T and the gang search for answers. If you're watching this, I already know you like our show, so why not make it official? Sign up for our Patreon and get access to the full uncut show with no ads, exclusive content, and most awesomely, our very lively Discord server full of Steelers maniacs just like yourself. It's truly a great time and an awesome community, and we'd love to have you. Patreon.com/5SMU. Do it now. Now roll the game. Into the second half now, and it pains me deeply, but it's another week and another poor angle for my most favorite Steeler, Minkah Fitzpatrick, whose sketchy season continues. Everybody knows I hold Mink in the highest of regards, but the amount of these I've seen on tape so far this season is not great. I definitely don't think he's having the worst year ever, as he's still a big part of the reason this defense is good, but I continue to be baffled by his pursuit choices. Long arm legend Keanu Benton swats this one into Daniels' face, like my uncle playing me in one-on-one when I was 10. Hey, there's a reason I have high standards, but on 3rd and 9, it's Terry again being scary, and he tumbles for a first inside the 5. Very next play, what the heckler? It's not even Austin Eckler, but Jeremy McNichols trotting into the Burgundy end zone for 6. Steelers go from up 4 to down 10 without even touching the ball. This one's fixing to get late early without a quick response. Immensely important 3rd and long here, and it's just more professional quarterback type from the Russ with the must, who stands in against pressure and sidearms this one to everyone's favorite chicken nugget, who sticks his foot in the ground and zips deep into Washington territory. 1st and 10 though, and friendly reminder, we're in Washington, D.C. as the Commies' ferocious front insurrects the backfield for a crumpling sack on Wilson. 2nd and 19 feels long, but really, what is 19 when you've got the curious one, Georgie Porgy, who grabs a pudding, a pie, and a 1st down deep in the business zone? I feel like this is the most underrated and untalked about part of Pickens' game. His yak ability has proven to be really something. Much better than the last wide receiver one we had, who never could seem to tell the difference between north and south. 2nd and 8, Russ has nothing but gets bailed out by an offsides. Naj pounds one close, but on the next play, grab your matches, cause it's all cigar, baby. Absolute statement drive by the Russell Wilson regime in a spot that it was desperately needed. I know it's just one game, but to me it felt like so much more. This response felt like a line in the sand drawn by the Steelers offense. Whoops. Rookie's gonna rookie every now and then, even the best of them, and here Daniels misses a wide open guy who very well might have scored. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. 2nd and 10, Daniels again fires deep down the sideline, but it's the return of on the button Sutton, who swats this one perfectly for the PBU. Welcome back, Cam. I'm disappointed in you. Next play, and it's Godzilla Hayward swatting another helicopter out of the sky, and he's starting to beg the question of whether an all-pro defensive lineman can somehow get better at 35 years old. Steelers take over deep in their own end, but they fret not as they hand it to bell cow extraordinaire Mr. Harris, who bounces for a few, but oops, take this one back. What do you know, it's another deep shot down the sideline from Russ. Again, this one to Van, who can't quite track it down. Am I using the literary device known as foreshadowing? 3rd and 10, the general takes another deep shot, and the Steelers wave the white terrible towel on this stinker of a drive. Oh good, Waitman picked now for his first bad punt. Great. Already practically in scoring range before they roll out of bed, Daniels first completes for a few, followed by a dash up the gut for a 1st, and the Steelers' defense desperately needs a tourniquet. And just in time, the Steelers read this play perfectly, forcing Jayden to tuck and run for a loss. His legs were no factor today whatsoever, but his arm, well, that's a different story. He finds his security blanket Ertz for yet another 1st. Oh wait, he dropped it? I swear this play is an optical illusion on the wide camera. Even writing this, I thought it was a 1st down again. Minka lassos a steer on 3rd, and the Commies again settle for the 3. Washington 27, Steelers in striking range at 21. Oh, but there's just the small matter of the pass rush, which gets home again, putting the Steelers way behind the 8 ball. Russell fires a classic arm punt on 3rd and the millennium, thankfully touchdown by George, and it's back over to the butler, Jayden Daniels, with a chance to pull irreparably ahead. Bad day at the office continues for Peasy the Younger, who felt like he was getting cooked all day long. Daniels lobs a drop in the bucket for terrifying Terry, who dots the I and pulls the Skins across midfield. A couple plays later, the Steelers D gets exactly what they needed, a negative play. This one again by Walter Payton Man of the Year, Bam Bam Cam, who knocks him back 11 yards as we head into the 4th and final stanza. Unfortunately for Washington, the 4th is winning time, and that's when the 2024 Steelers shine the brightest. They try something of a trick play here that goes, well, extremely poorly, and would you look at big number 97 chasing this speedster? Cam doesn't make the tackle, but he completely blows it up, and freshly acquired Preston Smith breaks out the dustpan and broom to clean it up. All right, let's go, Arthur. Time to get this thing cooking. Jay Warren gets 5 of the 6 on 2nd, and on 3rd it's the ever-patient vet confidently hitting his number 1 man, Mr. Pickens, in stride for a very easy 1st down. I don't know about you, but the Steelers look like a team that's fixing to score, don't they? A Najee in motion stays in motion. Another slippery slither up the middle for the double deuce, and the Steelers find themselves in another need at 3rd, which does not go great. Aggressive all day though, Tomlin trots them right back out there, and they roll a dice. And be still, my cower beating heart. What a thing of beauty this play is. Jay Warren behind Connor Hayward with Broderick Jones and Darnell Washington at tight end. And would you look at this poll by Mason McCormick? They're saying you want to be a Smash Mouth team, and there's actually being a Smash Mouth team. This is Smash Mouth. 2nd and 10, Russ says fuck it, George down there somewhere, and drops a patented moonball in the basket of George's bike to officially put the Steelers in business. And I'm not sure I'll ever get tired of watching the loft this guy puts on his balls. The loftiness of his balls? How high his balls are? 3rd and 2, it's that one and only Mr. McNugget, who I'm pretty certain was pressed from the same mold as Austin Eckler, and I hope you're wearing your finest black and gold tuxedo as we're once again entering the business zone. 2nd and 7, and it's that very same Mr. Warren who gets oh so close and does something foreign. He gets stood up and stopped short of the end zone, and the refs swallow the whistle on forward progress, and Jay gets stripped for the butt-crunching fumble at the 1. Just a brutal turn of events for the Steelers' absolutely chugging offense. Just feels like every bounce is going Washington's way today, doesn't it? Conservative run gets him a few for safety, followed by another on 2nd. This one's coming back. And on 2nd, Daniels lobs another one to a wide open man, and it's just out of reach of Luke McCaffrey. Maybe that thing I said about everything going their way, maybe I was wrong. 3rd and 8 is when you need your guys to step up, and here it's the law firm of Highsmith and Watt, meeting for a very expensive steak dinner at the quarterback, and while they might be out of the au gratin, the porterhouse still gets the job done. Washington punts with no space to spare, and it's another unspectacular but winning play from Calvin Austin, who continues to impress me with a 17-yard punt return to set the Steelers up nicely as time ticks under 6. Nice run by the Naj gets called back on an illegal formation. Ugh, why is this tackle uncovered? Please get that man a blanket. But if I've learned anything since Russ became my quarterback, it's that distance is no longer an issue. He tosses for a loss on 1st, but on 2nd and 16, it's vintage Wilson with a scramble to and fro, and an on-the-run seed to Calvin to set up a convertible 3rd. What a display by Steelers fans in a hostile environment, by the way. Would you look at those towels waving? 3rd and 3, and who says the Steelers can't use the middle of the field? Russ hits Muth for the gigantic conversion, and Pittsburgh is threatening to take the lead as time ticks under 4. Naj run gets nothing on 1st, followed by a flying nothing on 2nd, and that sets up our
5-star
play of the game.
3rd and long. Wilson floats it way upstairs. Williams, he's got it! Touchdown!
Let me see your 1-2 step. Russell Wilson can do no wrong as Steelers quarterback. He fires a patented moonball deep down the sideline, this time not to Van Jefferson, nor Calvin Austin, nor even George Pickens, but rather the newly acquired Mike Williams, who just learned the play in the huddle. And eat your heart out, Aaron Rodgers, because Mike Will made it. And a Boz kick puts the Steelers in front by the smallest of margins, 28-27. 1st and 10 for the Butler, and Alex the Great hunts and pecks him for the almost sack, but ouch, it's a gnarly looking ankle injury for big number 56, and man, I hope that's not as bad as it looks because Alex is invaluable. Luckily again for the con artist, stealing Preston Smith this week too. Get well soon, Alex. 2nd and 10, Jayden gets time and fires complete for a first near midfield in front of James Pierre. Why is he playing so much at corner anyway? And the Commanders are already bordering on field goal range as time ticks to 2. 1st and 10, Daniels tucks it and runs, but again, it's long arm god Keanu Benton snaring him for the stop to limit what might have been a game-sealing scramble if he had gotten away. Time ticking under 140 now, and it's Eater of Worlds, Trent Jordan Watt, finally getting his hands on Daniels, but just a millisecond too late, and he gets it out for the floppy incompletion instead of a strip sack. 3rd and 9, and welcome to Pierre Island. Well-timed PBU by Pierre that really had me holding my breath as it looked like a PI on first glance, but it's not, and that sets up one final make-or-break play for the Commanders' offense. 4th and 9, Daniels backpedals, waits, and fires for his man Zach Ertz, again open over the middle, but look to the zebra, Elaine! I think I'll file this one under times I'm glad we haven't started using lasers, but who the hell cares? He's short and it holds up to review. Washington can't convert, and instead of a chance to kick a game-winning field goal, it goes over on downs to General Carrington and his men with a chance to lock it down. Steelers of course play the clock with a minimal run on 1st, followed by a terrible loss on 2nd, and on 3rd and 8 they elect to keep it on the ground. I don't know about that, but Cordero chugs and lugs it to within barfing distance, and boy oh boy do we have a nail biter on our hands. Faced with a 4th and 1 and a strong desire to be Smash Mouth, the Steelers respond yet again to the allegations that they are in fact a Smash Mouth offense, and they line up with absolutely no intention to snap it. Somehow, some way, Russ uses some vet magic to actually draw a defensive lineman offsides for the clinching 1st down. And say it with me, your Pittsburgh Steelers are 7-2. Wow, what a way to finish off this comeback. While Tomlin was aggressive all day long, his perpetual faith in his defense, coupled with the fact that Daniels had not had a great day at the office, tells me there was no way in hell they were snapping this ball. I'm writing this the next morning and I still can't believe that dude jumped off sides, but hey, he's on the red team and that's none of our concern. What is of our concern is a Steelers team that is smoking hot at a blistering 7-2, suddenly employing an offense capable of scoring near 30 anytime they show up. Russell Wilson had his worst game as a Steeler, completing just 50% of his passes, but he also threw for 3 touchdowns, a feat we haven't seen in this town since the waning days of Large Benjamin. Credit to the Steelers defense for somewhat slowing the fiery Commanders offense, and credit to special teams for bouncing back with a positive play or two after a huge negative, even if I still think the fake was completely misguided. But truly, the topic of conversation on my mind right now is this offense. I no longer watch that side of the ball with my eyes closed. It no longer feels like a handicap as it had for most of the existence of this show, but instead it feels like a strength. They run it well, they pass it well, they can hit deep shots, they can convert 4th and 1s, and now they have a real second deep ball option to pair with George Pickens. But most importantly, they have what they have so desperately missed for years, a real quarterback. While I was admittedly suspicious of the Russell Wilson experiment, I can no longer say that I have any doubts. The guy has been a straight up difference maker at the most important position on the field, and I no longer feel embarrassed about the Steelers' prospects against a Buffalo or Kansas City in the playoffs. At 7-2, this team has gone from a surprise upstart to a genuine powerhouse with a chance to win their division on their way to 12 or even 13 wins. Granted, they've yet to play a division game, but who among those 3 teams can the Steelers not beat? The Ravens that they beat last year with Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph? The Bengals that can't get out of their own way on defense? The lowly Browns? A simple 4-2 in the division puts Pittsburgh at 11-4 with room for more. You love to see it. This is the best Steelers team since 2017. On to the Ravens. Here we go. And if you're still here, why are you not subscribed to our Patreon? You get the full show uncut over there with no ads, and you get to join our absolutely insane Discord server where we wax poetic about the Steelers 24/7. It's a good time. Do it now.